Hi, it's Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and today we're checking out the M.I.C CarPlay AI box. This is another Android 10 dongle for CarPlay factory systems. The most exciting thing about it is that it features the Qualcomm 665 chip, which means much better performance. So overall, we should have a good dongle here. The good thing is also that it carries my favorite menu system interface on most all of these Android AI boxes. It's one of my most favorite ones. So I'm really looking forward to checking this out. So let's have a look at what's inside the box. Okay, so here's everything you get inside the box. There really isn't much. There's no manuals. So good luck to anyone that's doing this for the very first time. You've got the dongle itself. We'll come back to that in a minute. And we've got a short throw USB-C to USB-A cable. That's all there is. The box is even unbranded. Fortunately, you can't really get this in the UK. You have to get this from Germany. They do sell it in America as well, this particular dongle, but not from M.I.C, as far as I'm aware. It's a very similar case that we've seen before. You'll see this one here looks almost identical, both in size and shape. The ports are exactly the same on them. And also on the other side, we've got the same dots that weren't really used in the review, if you've seen that one. On the back, exactly the same material, and up top we've got pretty much exactly the same, apart from the branding at the top here. So we've got Android, exactly the same, and you've got a AI adapter on the Autocast, and on the M.I.C we've got almost like a brand number there, which tells us that this particular one is the Qualcomm 665 chip inside, whereas the Air has the Qualcomm 450. Now the best thing about that is that we've got way much better improvements in terms of performance. So both have got 8 cores, but the one from M.I.C will be a little bit faster, not marginally faster, but a little bit faster. That's going to help. They're both ARM v8. M.I.C version's got the 11 nanometer chip, so it's a little bit smaller, probably more efficient than the 14 nanometer processor. The CPU itself is twice as fast at least, and the GPU is probably 3 times as fast. The memory is around twice as fast than this U2 Lite. So overall, we're going to see hopefully some really good results. So let's jump in the car and see how well this performs. All right, so we're in the Golf. We've got our Alpine system here, which has got CarPlay. And we've got our M.I.C Snapdragon 665 Android dongle here. So we're going to plug it in using the USB-A end. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually come with a USB-C end if you've got a more modern CarPlay car. So you have to look for an adapter for that. So going in now, you've got little blue LEDs on the outside here. So that's a nice and fast entrance into the main menu interface here. It's going to have to restart like most of them actually do once they've actually found out what resolution that you've got of your system. They do kind of reboot themselves to get themselves back up and running using the resolution that it thinks it's detected. Right, so we're back in the main menu interface. It's gone straight into the settings menu. Car is the section that's related to the dongle itself. So let's just jump in here. You can turn video off if you wanted to and block notifications whilst you're driving. Factory settings, let's try 126. Yeah, that's the standard factory number to get into the factory section. And here you got all the standard functionality where you can actually change the logo if you want to have it boot up using your manufacturer's symbol. I'll choose VW so we can actually have the VW show up. And most of the stuff is for Android head units, so you shouldn't need to go in here really. So I'm going to apply that and exit, which is going to reboot the dongle. So you can see our logo has been applied there. It doesn't show long because the performance of this dongle gets us into the dongle very rapidly. So here's the main menu interface. We've got our panel here of widgets. If you tap on a blank area, you can actually select added widgets if you want to show certain widgets on the display. This can be anything from clocks to Google search, showing your location and fast shortcuts to certain functionality inside apps, such as like maps, for example. You can change the wallpaper as well if you want to have a fancier looking wallpaper. We've got a couple of built-in options here. Go for the Aurora. So you can have a nice background theme if you wanted to, or you can just have it as black. And we've got some stock apps here. So on the home page, we've got Bluetooth navigation, settings and music, video, Bluetooth audio, gallery, APK installer for third-party applications that aren't on the Play Store. Calculator is a new one. That's something I've not seen before on the Android dongles. File browser to get into the root and actually launch downloaded apps, for example. Got calendar here, that's new. Chrome browser, clock is here with Gmail, Google, and all the basically the Google suite. MultiPlay is the CarPlay app to get access to CarPlay and Android Auto, so we'll check that out in a minute. Sound recorder is interesting that's here. YouTube is built in, and car, I assume, will take us back to the car display. So that's quite nice. You might want to have that front and center. If you don't want to have settings or any other app, you can move these about into other areas of the menu, and you can create folders as well, which is quite nice. On the left hand side, we've got a clock, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi status indicators, the last 3 opened apps, home button, which will take us back if you're in an app, for example, and you've got a back button as well. If you hold down back, you've got multi selection and quit all the apps as well, which is a really nice feature. If you hold down home, nothing happens. So there is no split screen, I think, in this UI, not that I know of. And if you know it, let us know in the comments. So this is basically the functionality as it stands. It's pretty dormant and a little bit dead without internet. So let's give it an internet connection. So we're going to go up to the Wi-Fi. We're going to turn Wi-Fi on. We're going to jump in there. We're going to connect to the guest network. So we've now got a connection with our Wi-Fi here, and now everything should start to come alive. So we're going to go back home, and we're going to go to Google Play, and we sign in with our Google credentials. Right, so we're into our account, and from here you can actually download any apps that you like. You can browse the movie store as well if you've got that signed up. So we're going to quickly go into device info and check out some of the general specs of what is available. You've got the QCM6125 here, the CPU. That is the Qualcomm 665 running Android 10. We've got the 4 cores running at 1.8 there, and we've got another 4 cores slightly less, so they're running independently. We've got 46 gigabytes of storage used, minus 0.9 gig of current apps that are currently on there, and I'm sure you can probably get rid of those as well. So you can see here they've got the Qualcomm 6125 here, running Android 10, API level 29. CPU here, you've got 8 core, running up to 2 gig. It's got built-in GPS. So you can see here it's actually connected to 10 satellites in the US, and you've got some European ones as well. So we've got quite a lot there all connected, so that's good. Wi-Fi is at minus 70 DPM, quality of 68, pretty standard. Link speed of 87 megabits per second, frequency of 5180. You've got 4 gig of RAM on this. It's using up 1.6 at the moment with 3.6 remaining. Total of 46 gig of remaining storage to use for apps and things like that. Picked up my resolution of my display running at 60 FPS. So that's basically the credentials of what's inside this dongle. So in theory, it should fly on quite a lot of the applications. So let's just jump into YouTube. Right, so we're going to YouTube and everything loads up nice and quick of the controller. And the knuckle strap loops over the hole at the bottom and around. All right, so that's pretty cool. All Seeks, as you'd expect. The lip syncing is good as well. So I'm happy with that. And the best thing is that it goes full screen. You don't have to worry about any floating menus. This is the best thing about this interface. It all keeps itself away from the apps itself. You can see it. It maintains a left side view, but should you want to go full screen, it will get out of the way and you can actually enjoy the video that way. So that's really, really cool. And you see it come back in whenever you need it to go back, for example. So I'm happy with that generally with YouTube. Unfortunately, it doesn't play in the main menu. There's no floating UI either. Again, if you know that, let me know in the comments. But as far as I know, I couldn't find that out. I couldn't get Netflix from the store. It wasn't available on the platform. So you have to go through the APK mirroring site. So I'm just going to show you some sped up footage of me getting that from the Chrome browser. But once you've got it downloaded, it installs just fine. And here we have the account logged in. Unfortunately, the sidebar is staying visible. I don't know if it's because of the version of Netflix that I've downloaded, but you could probably have a play with that and see if you can get rid of that. But let's get into a bit of video and see if it goes full screen. Yes, it does. And you can set the brightness there, which is a nice touch. Frame rate's a little bit choppy. I saw that on the previous dongles. I'm not quite sure if it's down to the Netflix and the stream that it's coming down at, but I found that a little bit odd that YouTube can be totally fine and smooth, but it does run a little bit choppy on this Netflix. So maybe it is the app and it needs a little bit of exploring as to why that is. But that's Netflix. Everything runs perfectly fine, comes through car speakers fine. Let's try out some games. With the GPU, it should definitely help with some of the games out there. So games like Crossy Road, which we've seen in the past, is like my benchmark. Everything seems to run a lot more fluid. Yeah, this is a lot more better with this CPU. There's no lag on any of the animations. It's totally playable. Apart from that, much better than most other dongles, pretty much all dongles, purely because of this processor that's inside it. It can be improved, but most dongle makers at the moment and currently on the horizon are using this kind of chipset. We might be months away until they improve this, but for now, this is definitely the fastest one that I've experienced. And to get out of this, you can see I swipe down, you can then go back home. It's a nice way to get back without having any of these floating dot menus. And here we have Angry Birds, the latest version. That handled all the effects no problem compared to some of the other dongles that did jerk a bit with some of the effects. So games wise, it's going to be a lot more fun, a lot more playable in some of the more intensive games that are out there. But if you're only going to be using it for car related apps, then this has definitely got the grunt to work with those. I'm going to download Asphalt 9 Legends. This is very intensive for mobile at least, and even if it launches, because on some or most dongles it wouldn't even launch. So far so good. Wow, so that works really, really well. Way better than the Aurora, which did struggle with this game, and on some other dongles couldn't run it at all. So this works really well, and it just shows you the GPU coming out here with this particular dongle. So you're going to play games on here. That's doable, I think, and some good ones too. All right, so that's Asphalt 9. Everything coming through the speakers. Looks nice, plays well, very fluid. I'm impressed with that one. Google Maps, if you don't want to run Google Maps from Android or your phone, iOS phone on CarPlay, you can run the Maps app from here instead. And let's just do a quick search and see how all the tiles and the navigation. This is a lot more rapid than most other dongles.
Head northwest on Stanmer Avenue, then turn left to stay on Stanmer Avenue.
Yeah, I feel a lot more comfortable using this rather than some of the other dongles that are out there. This is a lot more rapid. You're not waiting for things to load up and things like that. Again, it's down to your internet connection, either on your phone using personal hotspot, or if you've got a SIM card installed in this dongle. At the moment, I'm using my home Wi-Fi, so everything's a lot more rapid over 5G Wi-Fi. Of course, you can use any other app. You can use Waze and everything like that to get your navigation app on. So everything is all nice and quick. All fairly rapid. No sluggishness there, which is really, really nice to see. Calendar, I take it that just pulls down your Google Calendar and you can sign into that to pull that in. File browser is just going to make you navigate the route of the hard drive should you have any files that you've downloaded and you want to put on. Again, with the SD card, you can go through it that way as well. Calculator is a bit of an odd one, but you might want it on the road, and you can actually use the calculator there. The APK installer is going to be really handy if you can't get certain apps installed through the Play Store, and you can use this to manage the ones that aren't on there, as well as install ones that aren't available on the Play Store. You can do it that way. Gallery is just going to be a mobile gallery of any files that you've got in here, and you can do a slideshow. You can actually do video as well. Navigation is going to load up whatever you choose. So let's say Google Maps, and then that's going to fire up the navigation that way. Bluetooth is going to obviously connect to your phone and use your phone for dialing out. And then music is whatever you've got for MP3s or anything like that you've got on a local drive or you've downloaded, or your TF card will load it off that as well. And this persistent player will stay there. You can hopefully remove it. I'm not sure if you can though. So you would have to like move it to another screen and then you've got all the icons that way. So I've got a little SD card here. You're going to put that into the SD card slot. That's inserted and it looks like we're automatically playing audio straight away. And here we've got all the songs on the SD card. playing those without any problem. With the SD card installed, we can hit video and we can check out a number of videos that we've got on our SD card. You can see here, no problems running this one. It's got no audio though. These play out with all the audio through your car speakers, with scrubbing, so on. Frame rate is good. If I come out of this, it'll quit the video, so it won't run in a player, unfortunately. You can max out the screen if you want. The quality seems good. Go for a high bitrate one with the birds. A little stuttering there, but it seems to behave okay. I'll download VLC and see if that improves for a different player. So it's read the media. Let's try the birds again. Yeah, it does drop the frame rate a little bit, but other content seems to play just as well. So let's have a look at CarPlay. So we use MultiPlay for this. This will then load up the Android app, and here you can switch between Android or CarPlay. Doesn't matter, it's on an Android layer. So you just basically have to connect your phone via Bluetooth. CarPlay icon is really handy. So the home icon on CarPlay is going to be whatever we select here. So you can actually tailor it to your manufacturer, which that's really, really nice. This bar does get in the way. I can't seem to get rid of it for some reason. So it does overlay the apps a bit. So that's a little bit detrimental. Hopefully there could be an update that gets rid of that. We're going to choose right-hand drive. And then we need to connect our Bluetooth to the dongle itself. So we go into Bluetooth settings. We'll wait for the car kit. Then it's 4 zeros, and then we pair. And once it's connected, that will now come alive. Use it with CarPlay, and then we'll disconnect from whatever Wi-Fi you might be connected to on your phone, and then it will connect to the Wi-Fi hotspot on the dongle itself. If that doesn't happen, and that is quite regularly the case, we need to fire up the Wi-Fi app, and if that doesn't come up in the Wi-Fi profiles, that means it's potentially off the, here it is here. So we need to click on that, then we get connected, and then we're into CarPlay. So hopefully in reality, once you get connected that once, that should be it after that. So I found an issue with the dongle that I either accidentally or it was turned off, that the hotspot wasn't on. So wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto wouldn't have worked with that off. So you have to make sure that's on. So if you get the dongle and it's off, make sure you turn the hotspot on for the dongle for wireless CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And once you're into CarPlay, everything is going to be as you would expect. So you're going to have the same traits as you would normally have with wireless CarPlay. So we're going to check out our 2-second delay. Yeah, it's about 2 to 3 seconds. So it's a little bit longer than the wireless dongles. Let's go for the wheel controls. That works totally fine. Backwards and forwards. Using the Siri button, that's going to fire Siri. Send an audio message to test.
Okay, recording.
Hi, this is Anthony from CarPlayLife.com, and this is an audio test using the M.I.C Android 10 dongle, and this is an audio test.
Okay, it's sent.
So come back of the audio, seems very decent. Navigation, it's going to pull in the navigation from your phone GPS, or you can use the GPS from the dongle itself, but that seems all responsive, and it's rendering the CarPlay experience pretty well. A couple of jaggies on the outside, probably more than normal, but it's fairly reasonable. And this is the icon that we've chosen in the menu system for MultiPlay. So that's CarPlay wirelessly in a nutshell. So we're going to hit this and that make ourselves go back. You can hear Spotify playing off in the background. So you can have CarPlay and this running over the same time, but we're not connected to the Wi-Fi on the dongle. And if you were to do that, the CarPlay would quit out. So that's what's experienced. So if we go here and turn on Wi-Fi, CarPlay will disconnect. So you won't be able to have both multiples of either running at the same time. I'll do a startup test and see if it connects straight away and the time it takes to get into CarPlay that way. So we're going to turn off, I'm going to fire up, the dongle now boots up, the auto boots up into the display. Bluetooth is connected, which is now, The MultiPlay app will then fire up automatically, get connected to the Wi-Fi hotspot of the dongle, and then we're into CarPlay itself. So that's the time it takes from cold start into CarPlay wirelessly. So with that done, let's move over to Android Auto. Right, so for Android Auto wirelessly, we need to go into the Bluetooth settings, pair with a new device, and we wait for the Bluetooth profile to pop up. Here it is. We want to go 4 zeros. Then once it's active, it will then fire up Android Auto. Now that we're in the Android Auto with the device, and Spotify is playing out as we had it running before, and that's basically Android Auto running. It looks good. Quality is decent. It's always a little bit soft on my display, but it's fairly responsive. We've got all the Android Auto apps that are compatible, such as Spotify and Google and Google Maps. We can do Google Maps here, so that will now play out. We can do a navigation. Obviously the data is going to come from the Android phone, so that's all playing out. We've got maps on there working just fine. You can switch between that, and if you're regular to Android Auto, you know what to expect when you're running this particular software. And it's all working wirelessly. I can't quite say on the reliability of it yet. It needs quite some time to be working with it, but I have had this dongle up and running for probably on and off between at least an hour, and it hasn't crashed on me yet. So that's a good sign of some reliability there. So coming back home, you just hit the exit and you're back to the Android interface again, and you would have to disconnect your Bluetooth connection, pair it with the other secondary phone, whether it's an iPhone or another Android, and you'll get access to Android Auto or CarPlay wirelessly on the other device. So if you've got a CarPlay only display and you want to get Android Auto working with your Android phone, you can either go for a dongle like the U2X, or you could go for a dongle like this, which will get in fast. It's going to get you up and running with Android Auto good as well, and just generally it's going to be a decent platform to use your Android Auto phone on. If I just go into MultiPlay, let me do a startup test to get into Android Auto. So I'll just turn off the car. The dongle's booting up. We're now into the Android display. MultiPlay kicks in, connecting, and we're into Android Auto. So that's a good sign. So it will boot up into Android Auto without you having to interact with it. Connection seems a little bit flaky, but that's almost like that on all the dongles I've experienced. It might not be as straightforward. It's down to that hotspot and if the phone can connect to it successfully or not. But beyond that, it should be pretty much a seamless experience. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. That's the M.I.C Android 10 dongle, and I think it works perfectly. It's got a really good user interface that I really like. It gets rid of the floating buttons. The power and the performance is there, which I really do appreciate. And I think dongles going forward, this is almost like the baseline of where you want to be, and the next level chips are going to be even better than this. So that's really good sign, whether it's using software or getting games, or just generally the whole foundations of using the Android operating system on your CarPlay display. The connection did take a little while to get sorted out. That could have been my problem for turning the hotspot off, but once you do get it connected, it does fire up very quickly. So this dongle retails for €229. That's a little bit cheaper than some of the other dongles that are out there. That's like roughly about $300. So it is quite a good price for what you're actually getting in terms of performance. It seems quite reliable so far, and obviously you've got one of the best UI interfaces that are around for the Android AI boxes right now. I did get caught for customs duty. That was about £58 that I had to pay to get this into the UK. So do bear in mind, if you're buying it from abroad and you're not in Germany, then you do have to look into that. There might be some customs duty on your side that you might have to pay. So factor that in. And if you do, that's getting very close to the $300 that you'll be paying anyway for these other dongles that are out there. But you can get this dongle elsewhere in America. So if you are in America and you want to check out this particular dongle, I might link it down below. But if you are in Europe, this dongle doesn't sell in the UK, so you have to probably get it from Europe instead. But otherwise, great dongle, great performance. Not the best performance as I was expecting, but it's definitely a lot more fluid, more seamless. Games and stuff a lot better thanks to its new chipset. And that just helps generally across all the foundation of all the apps that you might want to run on this system. All right, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. If it has, leave us a like down below, And let me know in the comments if you have any questions about this Android 10 dongle from M.I.C. You can check out all my other Android dongle reviews up in this top playlist up here. Hit that subscribe button down below to catch all my future content. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Bye.